Katmai is a competitive game for 2 players only, and specifically it is about the Katmai Natural Park in Alaska, and you are gonna be controlling bears that are going in and around the river to catch salmon. You know what? In my next life, I hope I can reincarnate as a salmon catching bear. It just sounds like a nice life. Now, usually I do not show you how components look like in a box. I just show you the game being setup, but I really like the presentation here. It's nice, elegant, compact. You're gonna have the rule book, and this is what the components look like in the box. So you're gonna have scoring cards, and you're gonna choose the side of the scoring cards that you want to use, and also you're gonna choose a set. They're gonna be, say for example, suppose I'm gonna choose B, then I'm looking for all the cards with the letter B. There you go, there they are. And that's so you have different combinations. So you're gonna score different things, and I place them where both players can see them, like so, because ultimately those are patterns that we will try to form with our bears in order to score that many points. That pattern gives me 1 point, which is represented by a salmon. Forming that pattern on the board gives me 2 points. Some of these patterns also will have extra points. If I form that pattern, I score a point, and if I'm using that kind of terrain to form the pattern, I score an extra point. Other scoring cards will give you a relative to what the other player is doing, such as occupying the most spaces rather than just occupying things absolutely. And we have our river. We take these tiles and we place them so that all of the arrows are facing the same direction, and we form a river. We form the playing area. There we go. Randomly, of course. You saw the scoring cards. We can move them for now. The river is formed of tiles, each with 4 squares, and each square has one of those terrain tiles that may be referred to by game effects, such as the scoring cards, but also by the cards that you play. We have a priority tile. One player will have initiative, and you can give initiative to the other player. Having initiative means you go first, which has pluses and minuses, and that's why from time to time, hey, why don't you go first? Each player will have a deck of 12 cards with darker brown bears and lighter brown bears. And each player will shuffle their cards at the beginning of each round. We'll take 2 out of the round. They're not used, so you cannot count cards absolutely. You don't know exactly what you or the opponent have. You take 2 into your hand and you form a draw pile. And so that's how that part works. And then look at this, look at this. I love this little tiny thing here, which you use to store the wooden components, one for the light bears and one for the dark bears. And so you just dump them there. These are for the light bears, and this is for the other bears. Super cute presentation. So here you're gonna have the meeples, that's how they call them, the bear meeples. The meeples, each player has a cup token, can be used once per round under certain circumstances, and these are salmon tokens. They represent victory points. When you score a certain pattern, you simply take the corresponding number of tokens and you place it on the pattern that you just scored. And so you'll form little piles there. At the end of the game, the player with the most salmon tokens in the scoring area wins the game. So we have our cards. Remember that? We have a hand of 2 cards, and we start the round by playing the cards next to the various slots that we have here. So both players will select a card, and the priority player goes first. Suppose it's me. And suppose that that's how we place our cards. So then we reveal our cards. Cards may have an effect. That may apply immediately one time, may apply for the rest of the round. For example, here my opponent Your opponent's least dominant bear against this one has a dominance of 0. Dominance is the value that you see here. As you can imagine, high dominance is good. And so there was no immediate instant effect to be resolved there. I played a card, I have a hand of 1 card, and now I draw another from my pile, and so does my opponent. Now looking at my hand of cards, and I decide what to play next and where. Maybe I decide to play a card here, and my opponent plays a card there. And we resolve that. So it's simple as that. We kept playing cards next to the various slots, replenishing our hand of 2 after each play until we have exhausted our deck of cards and all the cards have been placed next to the river in stacks, so no more than 3. Each tile can only have up to 3 bears. Once we're done with that, we simply evaluate who has the most dominance in each tile. Here, it would be 4 versus 3. I have the most dominance, and I get to place one of my meeples in one of the 4 spaces there. Here, the opponent is 1, I have 0. Suppose, however, that I also had control of that one, and then I decide to place my meeple there. When you place a bear, that is when you check if the bear you just placed fulfills one of the conditions. For example, by placing that bear there, I did fulfill that condition, and I score 1 point. Only 1 because I'm not using the terrain that will give me an extra point in that condition. And that's how it works. Evaluate the dominance, add the bears, check the victory conditions to place salmons there. Now, if at the end of a round, once you're done checking the entire river, if at the end of a round a player has significantly more bears than the other, I think it's 4 bears than the other player has, the player wins the game immediately. Otherwise, you play until a player is left with 2, 1, or 0 bears that need to be played. At that point, the game is over. You may have to score points at the end of the game, depending on the victory conditions. Not all do that. In any case, after all is said and done, the player with the highest score, meaning the most token salmons in the scoring area, wins the game. I realized I forgot to tell you about the bear cub, which is used as a tiebreaker. If 2 players have a tie in a certain location, you can use your cub to break the tie, but only if at least 1 mama bear is there. And I guess I kind of neglected to tell you because we found that rarely really seems to matter a lot. We don't have so many ties. We like to build a comfortable lead, or you have a tie and you don't have a mama bear there, or you already use your cub token. But it's a little angle there in the game. In many cases, there are no ties, or the ties are not solved by the cub, at least in my experience. I played the game with my 14-year-old. We enjoy it. It feels pretty confrontational. I'm glad I played it with one of my kids. I don't know, that's a great play with your spouse kind of game. It can create some attrition. You're really systematically trying to directly, specifically outweigh, power, strengthen, out muscle. You're trying to be stronger than the opponent right there. I really want to make sure I have more than you. Other games is more like a competition, parallel race toward the same objective. Nope, I'm gonna be better than you there. You can take that one because I think it's not worth much to you, but I'm gonna destroy you here and completely crush you because it's important to me. I need to form a certain pattern. Other than that, which may not be to everybody's liking, it worked for me again because I play with a teenager and the teenager won every time. I wasn't trying to let the kid win. That happened back in the day. I don't need any more. Just lose. And, that's good. That's good. Let's help the teen build confidence there. But other than that, the various sections of the game are tied together quite well, but also in a very tight and a bit unforgiving way. Meaning, it's nice that you're trying to maximize your tiny hand of cards, like, well, this card would be nice if I could use it right after a certain card that I hope I have in my deck, but I don't know for sure. I'm also taking into account the cards that you have already played, because I don't know which ones you have in your deck, or you may have in your deck at all, but I know which ones you already played. And I know that certain cards can be pretty powerful. They can cancel the power of one of my cards, they can move my bears, which again is super annoying and confrontational, because of course, and that's how you should use them, to break their powerful synergies and replace them with yours. So I'm taking that into account during the card play, which is nice. But then, during the selection of the cards, then of course is where I place the cards and how I move the bears around, because ultimately I am setting the stage, I'm preparing the foundation for placing the bears and creating those patterns, and those patterns, even better if I can maybe with a single bear form too, and they will give me points. So the various levels, one leads to the other pretty well, but again, it's very tight and a bit unforgiving, because if you make a mistake there, then you can get the synergy, and because you don't get the synergy, then you don't get the scoring, and the opponent does it. So we found that there was a little bit of surprising downtime, not too much, but more than I thought there'd be, when it's just a game in which each turn you play a card, because there's just a lot of stuff to do with that card, or that you had to take into account. It will influence many aspects of the game. So it's a thinky, confrontational, bit mean game about super cute bears. The rule book says that they are based on actually named individuals that the rangers of Katmai have known. And again, maybe 100 years from now, there'll be a new edition with the Marco Bear, which will be my reincarnation. That would be totally awesome. But for now, we have a game that looks really nice, really cute, excellent components. Even the presentation in the box, as I said, it's both very effective and just nice to look at. Has its own aesthetic quality. As for gameplay, again, it's good. It's very good. I guess I'll play at a specific time, maybe a game night with some friends, not with others. With my teen kid when I want to be completely destroyed. I liked it. I think I like it more if I finally manage to win, but it's a good game. I also like the replay value that you're going to have from the scoring conditions that change every time. You really have a lot of sets. And the relative scoring in some of the sets, the most here, the most there, makes it even more confrontational, but it also gives you the long-term strategy. The game is not too long. On average, we found that it lasts about 3 rounds. So that's how long it takes for one of the players to go down to 2, 1, or 0 bears. So it doesn't overstay its welcome. And so pluses and minuses here and there. Again, the only real minus is that it can feel a bit mean from time to time, but overall it is a solid game.